Hello everyone, this is Barefoot Mapmaker. I thought I might try to start a small series of videos on tutorials on how to do some of the more advanced things that I've been able to do with the Dragon Sector map set. And one of the things that I get questioned about the most is how do I do the multi-layered 3D floors or stacked 3D floors of those big intricate staircases that I make, the spiral staircases and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do a fairly simple set just to basically show you how it's done. I know there's other people who make videos on this, or I know there's one fella, he's from Australia, who's made a couple of videos on it, but he goes way too fast for me, and it's very difficult for me to keep up with him. So I'm going to try to go really slow here. And do it in the simple way that I know how to do it. So hopefully other people will be able to do it too. So let's begin. First, you want to have, let's see here, resources. Figure out what, let's see here. Well, you want the UDMF and ACS selected. Um, I'm not really too sure how to do that. I have to go back through. It's been so long since I've done it. But so I'm just going to go ahead and get started on making the floors. So all right. First of all, I've set my room darkness or brightness to 32 so I can see my grid very easily without having to select wireframe. And I'll put a couple of dynamic lights in there so we can see what's happening, just because, you know, the lights are shining everything. It's just the way I like to do things. So at any rate, let's get started. First of all, I'm going to make a sector. And that's all you want to do if you want to make a 3D floor is make a sector. Make it 32 by 64. And I'll move it over here to the center of the map, just like that. And now, the thing about 3D floors, or the thing about stacking 3D floors, is you can make, or you can put multiple tags in a single sector. All right. So we got tag 1 in there, and we want to add one. So go over here to the plus button and hit that. And go over to the plus button again and hit that. Again, 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 again. Okay, we're going to make 7 layers. Okay, so basically I'm going to have 3D floors going all the way from the floor to the ceiling, slightly separated from one another. And I'm going to show you how that's done. So right now we've got 7 tags in there. Okay, and sometimes if you want to add a weird tag number that's not in sequence or whatever, let's say I want to add 23, it'll automatically pop up with 8 because it's going to select the next unused tag for you. But all you got to do is highlight it and then type in 23. Okay, and that's what it will be. All right, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 23. But I'm going to take that 23 out, hit the 23, and hit the X, and it'll remove it. Or if you wanted to, you could take that 23, highlight it, and change it to something else manually on your keyboard. All right, so I hope you're all following along with me so far. All right, so we have the sector set up. Now we have to make the control sectors. So we're going to make 1, 2, 1, okay, 7 control sectors. So I'm going to make them over here. And I like to make little triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, now we're going to take all the control. I always like to take this line right here just to keep things consistent when I'm making my maps. And I'm going to give them all the line special of 160, which is 3D floors. Okay, we're not going to put a sector tag in any of them yet, because we're going to have to do that individually. You need to make a control sector for each individual tag that you had in your 3D floor or in your sector here on the map. All right, so we're going to clear those. This one here is going to be 1. Okay, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right. So if you go and hover over these lines now, each one of them will point to that same sector. All right, now we're going to go into visual mode again because I like to do my editing and especially my height editing in visual mode. Sometimes I'll use math, but it's just much easier for me to go into visual mode and do it this way. All right. Now, when you create a sector next to another sector or fairly close to another sector, that sector is going to adopt the height of the sector that it was created closest to. All right, so the whole set of 3D floors is going to all be the same height. All right, so now we're going to change that. All right, because I want all of my sectors to have only a height of, let's say, 2 map units. So we're going to highlight all of these sectors, and we're going to bring them all, let's say here, 8. Or actually, let's make this an 8, and let's make this a 6. All right, clear. So now you have one 3D floor that is 8 pixels on the top, and it is 6 pixels on the bottom. Okay, you can see that down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. All right, let's go ahead and change. Well, no, we need to do that out here. All right, so basically, you have the initial setup that you need to make stacked 3D floors. Okay. Now I'm going to hit Tab, which removes the advanced rendering. All right. So what we're going to do is, okay, let's highlight this one, this one, this one. No, we don't want to highlight that. We want to highlight that one, and that one. All right. So what we're going to do now is let's bring each one of these up to 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, now if we turn advanced editing off or back on, you'll see that we have a line of overlapping 3D floors, or a stack of overlapping 3D floors. Well, we're going to fix that presently. So let's turn advanced editing back off, or advanced rendering back off, and that's done with the tab key. And now what we're going to do is highlight the floors of these control sectors. And we're going to bring those up just like that. You get up here so we can see the bottoms of them. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. De-highlight that. 1, 2. De-highlight that. 1, 2. All right, clear, which is the C key. Now turn back on advanced rendering, and now we have a stack of 3D floors. This is a very simple way to create a stack of 3D floors, and you can do this in any shape, form, or fashion that you want. You can have as many as you want. In the staircase in map 4, in Dragon Sector, the fuel refinery, that huge staircase near the very end of the map where you have to swim up through the staircase and then climb the rest of it till you get up to where the super demons are. That entails, I think, almost 600 3D floors, or 600 tags for those 3D floors. So you can have as many as you want. I've tagged control sectors all the way up into the thousands, like 1020, 1030, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's no limit to it. Once you start getting up into huge amounts of tag numbers, they'll tend to overlap in this window here, where it shows all the tag numbers. I'm sorry, excuse me. In here, rather, where it shows all the tag numbers, it'll start to overlap to where it'll just basically bleed off to the end, because it doesn't line break when it gets to the end. It'll just bleed right over and vanish. So it starts to get a little bit dicey after you get so many tags in there. But that's basically how it's done. Again, hit Q to go in advanced rendering after you set your sectors up, and then just move them like you would a staircase in visual mode. But remember, you have to do the floors in addition to the ceilings, and you have to do them one at a time. If you want to make a very advanced staircase, it can be a pretty in-depth process. Take a lot of time and care in how you move your sectors to stack them properly. All right. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And if you like this video, for sure, please give it a like, and I would love for you to subscribe. Thank you very much. This has been Barefoot Mapmaker.